Hello everybody, and thank you for joining me. This is Sierra from Sierra T Designs, and today I have the final video in the Christmas Advent Matchbox series. So let's take a look. So I have some pattern paper here. It is a watercolor pattern paper, and by Moda Scrap. And I really wanted to add some extra texture and just kind of tone it down a little bit. So I brought in some white gesso and just a flat brush, and I'm just doing a little bit of dry brushing with some white on top. It honestly just added some texture to the background and kind of toned down the pattern a bit. And I think it looks really pretty because you get both the watercolor look and you get a bit of a different texture with some brush strokes. So I think it ends up looking really cool. So this is after it's dry, and now I'm going to cut down all of the pieces that I need to go on my matchbox. So I have already created the matchboxes. I'm not going to show it in this one. I show it in video 1 if you want to check that out. I will have it linked and listed in the little iCard at the top there. So you can go and check out the first video where I actually show you how to make the boxes. And then of course I have 4 weeks since that. This is the last in the series. This is week 5. So I am trimming them down. So the measurement ends up being, and it's not exact because of course each box, although should be similarly sized, it honestly depends a little bit on how tightly you folded your box. So I find that especially the inside of the drawer part is really, it's not going to be the same for each. As you can see here, I cut down a piece and then I really have to keep trimming off pieces until I can get it to fit nicely inside of the box. And then once I get it to fit nicely, I generally will glue it down so that it can't come out, it can't go anywhere, it doesn't do anything, it just stays inside the box. So I kind of have to test that out a little bit to make sure that it actually will fit nicely in there. And each box is going to be slightly different. So the measurement for the box is 1 3/4 by 2.5, just over 2.5, honestly, and then about 1/2 inch. And it's a bit of a measuring game to get it to work, but I found that I did pretty well here on these boxes. And then I'm going to take my little pieces that I've trimmed down and just adhere them all in the right places. And I did go and make the hole for my hitch fastener, my little handle that will end up on the front of the drawer. And for that, I just used the retractable craft pick, I guess it's called, and then some drill bits that I've been using all month to create the little holes that the hitch fastener actually sits inside of. I'm sure that there's an easier way to do that, to be honest, but this is the way I found, and that's what I had at home, so I didn't have to purchase anything else to make that work. And then I just put on each part of the box until it was fully covered, and then I'm going to jump into creating the hole again. So at this point, the box is sat for a little bit, so the glue is dry on the front, and I want to create the hole now in the pattern paper as well, so that the hitch fastener can just sit into that hole with no issues. And I do have to kind of go back and forth, and I'll bring the scissors in as well just to trim off any excess paper that's kind of sticking out so that it doesn't hold the hitch fastener away from the little drawer. I kind of like when they fit snugly because it's just slightly easier to open the box. And this is the hitch fastener. I think this is a bronze color. Honestly, I didn't end up with enough hitch fasteners. I'm actually waiting for some that were supposed to show up and didn't, so I had to go and steal one off of one of the older boxes so that I could make sure that each one in this video had a little hitch fastener. So hopefully those show up soon so that I can replace the one I had to borrow, but we'll see what happens. And then I brought in my Sidekick because all of the dies for this are really small. And I have the numbers that actually come with the Matchbox dies, as well as the little scalloped frame that I'm going to put over top of my shaker dome when we get there. So I did cut it out of some white glitter cardstock, and then I did cut 2 more layers of the 23, I know it looks like 32 there, but the 23 number to layer up my numbers to give them a little extra dimension. I wanted them to kind of stand out a little better because they're white, and because I did add some white to the background, it kind of takes away from it a little bit. So to kind of counterbalance that, I layered it up and gave it a little more dimension in layers. So it's still white, but now at least it has a little heft to it, if that makes sense. And it doesn't get lost in the background as much as it was when it was just the white glitter cardstock flat on the Matchbox. And since this is a Matchbox, like I can add as much dimension as I want because I'm not mailing it or anything. So there's no fear of dimension. And you'll see that as soon as we add those domed shaker pouch things here in a minute. That's not their name. Sizzix Dimensional Domes is what they're actually called. So I brought in a SnowFlake adornment. These are by Tim Holtz as well. And I just used a piece of white thread or floss, whatever this would be called, is for a sewing machine. And I just stuck that through the center hole there because it does have a little hole. And I'm going to have that hanging in the center of my dome. And I want it to be able to move, but I didn't want it to be flipping all over the place. So it would end up upside down or like backwards, so you couldn't even see the little gems in it. So that's why I brought in the string. And then I'm going to take a piece of double-sided tape. This is just so I can make sure that the string stays where I want it and kind of keeps that snowflake centered. This is just to double check that snowflake's not going to go anywhere and it can't flip over or flip around and do anything silly like that. So I do make sure that it's stuck really well there. And then I kind of eyeball where my dome is going to sit again. I did try to get the reverse or the double-sided tape behind the dome, where the reverse or the double-sided tape is stuck on there. I use my reverse tweezers, that's why that's stuck in my head, but so I did try to line that up. And then once I removed the part of the release paper there, I brought in a bunch of glitter because I want to add this to the dome. So I have the Distress Mica Flakes, I have the Distress Rock Candy, and then I have these really pretty little iridescent mini stars that I added in there too, just because I thought that they would add a little extra and be really pretty. And those are by Pretty Pink Posh. And then here I'm going to remove the double-sided tape that's on the actual dome, but I am going to add some glue just to reinforce my stick because I was concerned that all this glitter would fall out otherwise. So I do add that extra glue, and it is needed. I tried my first one without the glue, and in the end I actually needed it, so I had to kind of jimmy rig it so that I could get it to have glue underneath or the glitter would fall out. And then I brought in my reverse tweezers, 2 of them, to hold that down so that it would stay flush without lifting in any area, and then the glitter doesn't try to fall out. And here you can see I'm just going to shake it around and watch the pieces and see if anything kind of comes out, and it doesn't, so we adhered well. And then I brought in that little frame. This is going to go over top of the dome. Now, it doesn't cover the whole dome's plastic, but I don't really mind that. I find that it just helps frame the dome, so it kind of makes it look more finished. Because it's actually for going on top of the dome if you were putting the dome from underneath the Matchbox so that it had like a peekaboo window into the drawer. But I didn't want to do that because I did a hole in, I think it was week 3's boxes, and I didn't want to do kind of the same design. So this one is just going to have this really cool shaker window or shaker dome in it. And then I brought in some silver icy sparkles by Studio Katia because I can't ever get enough of the bling. And then I'm going to hold it here so you can see it. That is the final box in this series. I can't believe the month is already done, that I've already made 25 of these boxes. They were a gift from my husband, so he's been opening them up every day since the 1st of December. So yeah, go and check out the series if you didn't already see it. I'll have it linked in the card. You can check out all 5 videos, or 4 other than this one, and check out all the box designs. So thank you so much for stopping by, guys. I hope that you will consider subscribing if you enjoyed this video. I do new videos every Monday and Thursday, and I do fun extra videos on the weekends whenever I have time or have something going on. So leave me a like, leave me a comment, and I will see you guys again soon. Thank you so much, guys. Bye-bye for now.